Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 1st of December. Now I say it's officially, that's Winnie the Pooh.
That's what I want. If President Xi's people watch our video, the first thing for them to see is Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, so before Winnie the Pooh, it's the Christmas season. Like it's officially, now we can sing Christmas carols.
Oh, that's right.
Now we can take down, I actually would have taken the Thanksgiving decorations down. We just haven't had time, but if it's still windy and rainy out later today, I might do that today.
Okay.
So we'll see. I'm just saying, it's December, man. Deck the halls.
He looks so much like Winnie the Pooh.
He does look like Winnie the Pooh.
Like the nose and everything.
But see, I don't see why. So for those of you that are unaware, that's Winnie the Pooh. This is President Xi of China, okay? Do not be, I'm trying to do this backwards. I would never be a good weather person. Okay, wait. Okay, forget it. Don't be confused by this cute little face that looks like this cute little face. Dictator. Millions of Muslims are in internment camps because of this guy, okay?
So China banned last year
But your head's covering up the Tigger one with Obama, which I love that
China
so
banned
much.
the images of Winnie the Pooh last year because President Xi was so they were using it as a protest,
right?
Okay, to make fun of, and it's adorable protest. I think it's just if you're gonna, it's much better than Mr. Cheeto Man or whatever they call President Trump.
I know, Orange Man.
So, all right, I'm going to jump right in because this is the most exciting story of the day, and normally we save it for the last, but then sometimes I'm tired, so I'm going with this first. Okay, so the wave of Hong Kong has turned into a daggum tsunami, and it keeps going. And I feel so connected right now with the people of Hong Kong.
I'm in solidarity with Hong
they're
Kong,
literally halfway around the world, like us and then them, like halfway around. Like there's nobody else we can get farther from. But in the spirit of God, I feel closer to them than, my neighbors. But here's the thing.
No, we feel pretty close to our neighbors.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Make a Hong Kong great again. Hong Kong protesters plead Trump for support. Now, we on our Thanksgiving show,
we did a disclaimer.
Friday after Thanksgiving.
Well, we did a Thanksgiving show, but then after that, you're talking about the Friday show, yes.
Yeah, we talked about how Hong Kong has the posters up of Trump as Rocky, and I'm so glad because Trump signed a very, a piece of legislation that on the face of it, it more or less is a piece of legislation in support of Hong Kong, and tells the world and President Xi that the United States, we're going to be watching you, okay?
Right.
And in the best way possible, and not allowing the anti-protest chemicals to be going. That's a sanction on the chemicals. But that's a huge, the police chemicals against protesters. I don't know how I feel about that because what if it turns out that they need them in some way, but that the Hong Kongers are looking to Donald Trump. And remember, this is Hong Kong, so this is a part of China, so they can get things printed in a second. Right? This is where all of your cheap stuff comes through. So they already have Trump on a flag with what this is.
It's like a tank.
Yeah. And then the birds in the background.
Oh
we really need to be playing some music. Look, he's got a belt on. President Trump, let's make Hong Kong great again. President Trump, liberate Hong Kong. I know they're saying liberate Hong Kong. With the Trump signs and the American flags. So tell them what we told them, how 90% of people in Hong Kong don't identify.
Well, they don't. It's not that they
Chinese.
don't identify as Chinese
No,
so
they
much.
don't.
Well, okay, hang on. Let me back up. They
literally don't identify as being Chinese people.
I think that they would be more than willing to be part of China if China would let them be themselves. So you're right, they don't identify as Chinese people. I'm talking about being part of China. Okay, because a lot of people in Hong Kong are like, yeah, Hong Kong is part of China. Yes, we are, but we want to be our own people within China, and China isn't letting them do that. They didn't just wake up all of a sudden and say, I'm so sick of China. I want to, like, I just don't like their rules. We want to annex ourselves from China. No, China kept pushing and crushing and threatening. And finally, these people were like, listen, we got to go. We can't be oppressed like this.
I think it's also more than that, in that they see what's happening to their brothers and sisters in China. They know what's happening.
Yeah.
They know what's happening. They know that if they cross the bridge into China, suddenly they don't have internet access anymore.
Right.
They can be watched. They can be detained in Hong Kong.
Some of these Hong Kong people are so tiny they look like children.
Yeah, they are. They are not exactly the Nordic army you would expect, but intellectually they're smart people. So they're using their brains more than brawn.
So I'm talking to Patriot Gallery yesterday, and you know, whatever we have going on in our lives or our friends have going on in their lives.
Before you get that, I wanted to kind of explain what we're watching.
Okay.
A brand new set of protests after the celebration. They're pushing. They found a way in. They're going to keep the tension on us. Keep the tension on us. We want more democracy.
Yes.
And they want accountability for police brutality.
Okay, so whatever you have going on in your life, whatever we or other people or other forces try to come in and shake you or whatever, I'm here to tell you something today. I'm talking to Patriot Gallery last night, and I was like, Mom, you can't touch me. We are winning everywhere. What is happening in Hong Kong is unreal. Now, that picture that I just showed you, and I'm going to bring it up again, and I want to be able to make it bigger because this is so huge. Let me see if I can open this in a new tab here, just so that you just see this picture, okay? The people in Hong Kong are sharing Donald Trump as Rocky. They are singing our national anthem. I said to Mom, you can't write a script like this. And she wanted me to repeat this. So I'm going to try and get it right because it just rolled off my tongue the first time I said it. Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller, the powers that be, from the beginning of the 20th century, actually the late 19th century, have been writing every single script, everything that has happened in history from then till now. Every president, every catastrophe, every war, women going to work, contraceptives, abortions, they have all pre-written the script. And that's just in America. They've done it worldwide. And now everybody done gone off script. They aren't writing this stuff anymore. We've got these conspiracy theories that are so stuck on we've done the research of what has happened in the past that we think that they're still writing the script when this crazy stuff comes about. And I got news for you. They aren't writing. They're trying to rapidly scribble things like, how can we put this together? But the Democrats, what they're trying to do to Trump, the impeachment process, they've had to go off script because nobody's on script, because it used to be the right and the left worldwide were reading from the same script. They just had their part to play. And now when the right, or whatever you want to label them, have gone off script, then the left is still sitting there trying to read their lines and going, well, wait a minute, but this doesn't compute. In Hong Kong, them sharing this happening. We've got a Donald Trump impersonator behind Leah's head. My life is awesome. You can't touch me. Like, seriously, I walk around happy all the time. Like, my mind, I can't even tell you. The glory of God has descended on this earth in a revolution, a reawakening. Isn't that the word you wanted the other day? Mm-hmm. An awakening has happened. And it's like, everybody, the people in my lives that have these problems, and I love my friends so much, but when you put it in comparison, this is your problem. No, actually my fingers touching together is your problem in comparison. And just sit back, relax, because your problems are going to get washed away with the wave of God and good. And so today is a good news show day. Carry on, Leah. I'm done.
Okay, well, let's just watch this one here.
So good. I should let them sing it. I sing it all the time. It's so great. Well done. Well sang.
The U.S. and China have many trade issues, and the U.S. can put a very big pressure to China to give Hong Kong democracy.
See, what did that sign say? It said something. Oh, the U.S. Thank you. The U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives passing Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act and sanction evil Hong Kong cops and officials. Win Hong Kong civil war or death. Hong Kongers pay for weapons. Must be faster than China pays for soybeans. Big deal with Hong Kong. Sanction now. Evil Hong Kong cops already illegally arrested U.S. company staff. Thank you. 59% of Americans support sending U.S. security assistance to Hong Kong. So there we have that, and then I have this video here. This is they are saying drive out the Chinese Communist Party, return Hong Kong to me. Now I just want to be clear because there's a saying called wag the dog, where the things are pre-planned,
right?
And sometimes the boy who cried wolf so many times, when the wolves are actually there, nobody believes them. Okay, so we went into Vietnam supposedly to overthrow communism, and we were in North Korea supposedly to try to overthrow communism, and we tried to overthrow communism this past year in Venezuela. And we tried to drum up support for anti-communists in Cuba. We just did the whole interview with Uncle Barry.
We're going to release that this week.
So I'm so excited to give you this JFK. It's just amazing. I want to get that out ASAP for JFK.
Got enough acronyms around here?
Yeah, I'm so excited to bring this to you guys. This video with Uncle Barry. We actually should show him a clip or two. But this is real. And you know it's real when the U.S. is not actually doing anything. The United States is not behind this.
Right.
The CIA is not behind this, because this would wrecks with the economy. This is not like Michelle was saying, like all the leftists around the world have planned all the wars and everything. This isn't one that was planned. This popped up. So that's why, we do
interventionist wars for personal gain for
our
country.
There's
nothing to gain here with Hong Kong. And as a matter of fact, there's everything to lose.
Right.
Because of China.
Right. Exactly. And even Trump was like, as Trump was ready to go and do Venezuela, well, there's oil there.
Yeah.
If there were oil in Hong Kong, we would be there, and China would have shut it off as soon as fast as you could say cheeseburger. All right, but there's no oil there in Hong Kong. There's nothing there of strategic value for the United States to exploit, like in Syria. Okay, so what you have is a real bona fide. This is the real deal. And this would be one where we could back and support Hong Kong in a number of measures. And the world's like, well, maybe we don't want to be interventionists here. Okay.
Would not be too harsh, I think, to describe that the police acted like terrorists on a few occasions in particular. For example, we talked about the 31st of August, when riot police stormed into Prince Edward Mass Transit Railway Station and hit at people indiscriminately. And by definition, if you hit people indiscriminately, that is really a terrorist act. And it has been rumored that people were killed on that occasion.
Wow.
Stormed.
So I've been following the Epic Times more and more. Here we have one more because they are an Asian-based news reporting. Thousands of rally here in support of to thank U.S. for support. This cute little kid with his American flag shirt.
What's so funny about this?
Thank you, especially President Trump and all Americans who have been supporting Hong Kong in this fight for freedom. Make America and Hong Kong great again. God bless all defenders of freedom. And may all tyrants burn in the hottest place in the hell.
You said it. You said it. This is amazing. It's great. It's so great. This is incredible. It's so amazing.
And I love that RT what is RT thinking about all of this?
I don't know, but RT is funded in part or in whole by the Russian government. Every time you turn them on YouTube,
I know, but Russia, this is a very strategic, interesting play by RT in Russia because they're covering this honestly.
Right.
RT actually has been covering worldwide news more honestly than any other news network in the entire world. RT worldwide is an amazing media.
Yeah,
it is amazing. During 2016, it had way more truth on it.
No, there have been some times though where you kind of go like, wait, where's RT going? Do you think that sometimes they do that almost like a, hey, listen, we're fair and balanced?
They are very fair and balanced. They are very fair and balanced. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, they do.
Meaning I don't always agree with what they say.
Well, no, I mean, they do have some people on there, some pro-communist people quite often. But they also have pro-liberty people and libertarian people.
It's something that you don't see on any other news network, including Fox News.
And if for RT to be showing this in any positive light wrecks their new trade deal that Russia's trying to make with China.
I know.
And so it really shows you that Russia is way more neutral in worldwide affairs than the United States or any other government.
Right.
Like
not going to be swayed by economics.
Russia,
just right or wrong.
and under Putin, he has an inner strength like a Donald Trump that is not as easily swayed. This is what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to cover. This is what, we're going to cover these protests.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Hong Kong. And it's very interesting because they are anti the overthrow of Venezuela government.
Isn't that crazy?
But they're pro what's happening in Hong Kong. So I'm telling you that 9 times out of 10, RT's angle is the right angle. The angle of freedom. RT has been covering the Hong Kong protests in a very positive light.
Yeah.
But not the ones in Venezuela. Now, we know that overthrowing the Venezuelan government is not something for us to do. But it's also not within the people of Venezuela to do it yet.
I know.
Okay? They still believe, they still have a lot of brainwashing in communists and a lot of socialism.
Exactly.
Whereas Hong Kongers are 100% freedom-minded, so it's time to back and support them.
There is a difference.
Okay? There's a difference between a CIA overthrowing something and backing and supporting the people. So
well, and that's just it, right? So you really hit the nail on the head, and I don't think you've said that on the show yet. And so I want you guys to really take away with that, because I know sometimes whether you're in the chat or you're doing something about your house and you're not really paying attention, pay attention to this to understand the difference between Venezuela and Hong Kong and our position there. The Venezuelan people are actually not ready. They don't have it within themselves because they're still ingrained in wanting the free stuff and the communist mindset. Whereas the Hong Kong people, this movement is so huge. Now, you actually asked me to say it, but I didn't get a chance to say it. You asked about the 90%. Almost every single 90% of Hong Kongers support this movement. Want to, I don't know how you even say exit China, but they want to exit China. They want a Hong Kong exit China, okay? They want that. The other 10% are probably just too scared to say it. That's everybody. Now, what did we say the population of Hong Kong was when we were looking it up a while ago?
I don't know, but
it's millions.
It's not. I don't
it's like
know.
a millions or something. I know it's over 1 million. I want to say it's between like 1 and 5.
I just spelled it wrong. Hong
Kong. Okay, 8 million now. So roughly, almost 8 million. They're on an upward trajectory. So we got 8 million people, right?
About the size of New York.
So there's 8 million people in New York.
There's 8.6 million in New York.
Holy smokes! Y'all people need to get out some. So we've got millions and millions and millions of people that are fighting for this cause. They're a city, but I keep wanting to call them a country because they should be their own country at this point. Okay. Hong Kong, I could see us forever and for always referring to Hong Kong as a country, the country of Hong Kong. They deserve that.
Yeah, sure. Singapore is like less than that, so
it's everybody. Could you imagine everybody?
This person's waving
there's no division. There's no right or left in Hong Kong. They are all united in one amazing cause.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time for America to get back to back and support a movement like that. You don't just leave an entire group of people like that when they're asking for your help. An interventionist war is when there's, kind of a little dabble of some people that might want your help, just a tiny speck. And then you go in and you just take over because they've got something that you want. We've done that historically. It's kind of the MO of the United States. That is not what this is. When you have an entire massive city, the whole city, all of the people saying, America, please come and help us. That is when we are called to go and help other countries. And that's the difference. So as a libertarian, you might say, no, we should never help anybody. Well, then you're just mean. Okay? There are times to help. But when a country in and of itself as a whole is like, let's say by and large Muslim, and then you got this tiny, tiny group of Christians, you can't just go in and say, I'm going to take over the whole country.
This is very interesting. I wanted to show this. This is a teenager. U.S. teen was blocked from TikTok. It's a social media thing that young people use. And she was blocked after a U.S. teenager whose TikTok account was suspended after she posted videos calling out the Chinese Communist Party for its oppression of the Uyghurs, has accused the Beijing-based company behind the video sharing app of covering up the truth. It went viral. Millions of people saw her view. I saw it like 10 times in my feed on Twitter. 3-part video cleverly disguised as a tutorial on how to curl eyelashes. Ferozia Aziz, a 17-year-old high school junior in New Jersey, I believe she's Muslim, tells her viewers to spread awareness of the human rights abuses in China and about the Uyghurs. So I think she posted this on Twitter after she was suspended from this TikTok. So I'm going to play this because it's had like almost 2 million views.
Teach you guys how to get long lashes. So the first thing you need to do is grab your lash curler, curl your lashes obviously, then you're going to put them down and use your phone that you're using right now to search up what's happening in China, how they're getting concentration camps, throwing innocent Muslims in there, separating their families from each other, kidnapping them, murdering them, raping them, forcing them to eat pork, forcing them to drink, forcing them to convert different religions, if not, or else they're gonna, of course, get murdered. People that go into these concentration camps don't come back alive. This is another Holocaust, yet no one is talking about it. Please be aware. Please spread awareness. And yeah, so you can grab your lash curler again.
Well done. Yeah. Bravo, young lady.
Yeah.
Again, being fair and balanced, we talk about the religion that shall not be named all the time. And yet, you will always, always, always see us calling out what China is doing to the Muslims in China as 100% wrong. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Chinese internet trolls attack Xinjiang in bid to influence public opinion. The Chinese Communist regime has deployed its massive army of internet trolls to smear Xinjiang performing arts in an effort to sway public opinion against it. These anonymous people are working to stack Google search results with negative views of Xinjiang And another person, an MC of the company, said in a recent interview with Epoch Times, Shin Yu is a New York-based classical Chinese dance company that has toured the world since 2006 with a stated mission of showcasing 5,000 years of Chinese civilization through the arts. While the company consistently performs in sold-out venues across the globe, it's drawn the ire of the Chinese regime over presenting scenes depicting the continual persecution of the spiritual group, the Falun Gong. The Falun Gong they're the ones that we know for a fact have been arrested and put into the prisons.
Yeah.
And their organs are the ones, I believe, they like harvest first.
Oh.
These Falun Gong people. It's documented. The Falun Gong, also known as the Falun Dafa, is a meditative practice that includes a set of moral teachings based on the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. The practice was banned in China after the Chinese regime deemed it a threat due to its immense popularity of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Because they need people to be controlled, okay? Official estimates at the time put the number of practitioners at 70 million to 100 million. Adherents of the practice in China have since been arbitrarily detained and subjected to forced labor, brainwashing, torture, and forced organ harvesting. More than 43,000 practitioners are confirmed to have been killed in this persecution, though the true number is thought to be much higher. Outside of China, the regime has sought to demonize and silence the efforts made to expose the persecution, including influencing overseas Chinese media and infiltrating overseas Chinese community groups. So now you have, being in the regime's crosshairs, the Shen Yun, and I remember they sent, those are the people that send out the big advertisements that come in the mail sometimes for the big Chinese performance. Shen Yun has faced a barrage of attempts to shut down or to interfere with performances since the company started touring 13 years ago. In addition to numerous cases of Chinese consulates or embassies pressuring theaters or governments to cancel the performances, the company's tour buses have been sabotaged, performances family members in China have been harassed, and now there's a bunch of internet trolls against them. So there's a lot of crazy things that China does to try to silence people. And then while I'm here, while we're talking about China, because remember for months we kept saying we're going to cover China. I'm actually kind of glad that we are. There's a documentary that I want to watch, and let me see if I can find the trailer. And I think we told you guys about it, but it's finally out now. It's called One Child Nation, and there is a woman who went and interviewed the people who do the forced abortions and did the forced abortions in China all these years, and it's absolutely heartbreaking.
I was born in China in 1985,
it's on
a time when China's population crisis was making headlines around the world.
In an effort to protect its people from starvation, China has enacted a policy limiting families to just one child.
If you have a second child, you violate the law.
I never thought much about what the policy meant for me or anyone until I learned that I was going to be a mom. None of my family questioned the policy or how it was implemented.
If you were born a girl, I would have been put. If I were born a girl, I would have been put in a basket
and sent away.
Yeah. You think the one-child policy is good, right? Yes. People used to starve to death. Now, this is the total brainwashing, because they always say we had to enact the one-child policy because people used to starve to death. People used to starve to death. But what they don't tell you is that people didn't starve to death before Chairman Mao came in, ruined everything. He took people's farms. He would take down people's farmhouses and use them for fencing.
Right.
He people who had like centuries, even or hundreds of years of family members who grew rice. He would put somebody else over in charge of the
zero
rice
experience,
growing,
and that's why they entered into starvation. And so then they had to start,
implementing very strict, harsh policies because he ruined everything.
The answer when you have a lot of people is not to just kill them off. It's to set them at liberty to be able to provide for themselves.
Right. I was the one who killed. I was the executioner. It was like fighting a war. Death is inevitable. They really believed, a lot of these, there's two women here. One woman feels, she interviews two midwives. And they would baby born alive, dead. Killed it. They killed it. They would kill, well, no, they would, if there was two baby, if you got to 9 months and you had that baby, and you had a baby, they would kill the baby.
Why not kill the baby before it reached 9 months? Didn't they do that?
No, I'm saying that if you get to that, if you've hidden it.
Yeah, if you've hidden it, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chinese government would come in and they'd bash down your house, take the child.
My dad told me that I have an identical twin sister. Lives in the U.S. now. Fraud and corruption nationwide. You and your family were the biggest traffickers in the country. And he follows this person who is the biggest child trafficker. And the twist of it, from what I understand, because I haven't watched it yet, is that was he a hero in saving the babies, or were they making money? And then it got to the point where the Chinese government was taking kickbacks from child trafficking. So there's a bunch of Chinese girls here in the United States, and their families they might be true orphans.
I know.
They just might, the government might have gotten kickbacks. And all these Americans, I remember in the 90s, were going, I got to go save this Chinese baby girl. I got to go save a Chinese baby. I know them. I know people who have Chinese girls. And where's their mom? You know? Now, not to negate that they have moms here now, okay? Because I know people who have adopted, and that they lovingly took them in, and that's their family now. And
it's beautiful.
But when you look at the origins of it, right, you have to be able to...
Was a child being stripped away from a mother that wanted to keep it?
Yeah.
Throughout my life, I was taught to believe the love of my country was equal to love of the government and the party. I was so angry, even with my own family, that there wasn't more to be said or done.
Our life is so great.
Everyone we spoke to said the same things about the policy.
I had no choice. I truly had no choice. What choice did I have? So many babies were taken away. I'm here to help you. Find your twin daughter. She's 16 now.
I wondered if most people in China really thought it was worth the sacrifices each family made.
Now, not that it's any better, but they do now have a 2-child policy.
Yeah, because the one didn't work out.
Because the one, and they started losing people, actually.
Well, and then now you have all these men, and there's not enough wives for them,
right?
And so,
and the Bible talks about counting the cost, and so that's when you are a nation that is void of God and the gospel. You don't really count the cost of what is going to happen when we give incentives to every family that if they have a male child, it will be better for them. Then all the women are going to be killed off. There aren't going to be any women left. That's how you lose your people.
I wanted to bring this up because when we're talking about Hong Kong and we're talking about the Chinese government, and we're talking about what makes China so bad. Well, under Chinese policy, this woman in the documentary has an uncle who you wanted to have boys born. If you didn't have boys born, then you kind of sometimes would abandon the girls, so you have a boy because the boys would take care of you when you're older.
Right.
And so the uncle had a baby girl, and he put her in a basket in like a community market, hoping that somebody would pick her up. And they came back days later, and the baby had died of heat exposure and had bugs all over.
That's disgusting.
And it was more than disgusting. The baby died, like he killed his child, because that was the government policy. And then often you would have a child, your one child, they would pick you up and carry you into a hospital and sterilize you. You didn't have a choice. It's not, you could run away, maybe. Very few people had a chance to even have a second child because they forcefully sterilized you.
Right.
It's a brutal thing. And I remember having a friend of mine who's more of a libertarian here in America say, well, they got a lot of people. I understand their policy. You really understand the policy. You really do. Okay? Taking people and my body, my choice, except for when it comes to having children. Like, that's not, I just don't understand it. In addition to forced abortions and sterilization and killing babies after birth, in this woman's own family, her younger brother was sent to school, and the filmmaker sent to vocational school when they didn't have enough money. China has a very patriarchal society for thousands of years, and a lot of people would argue, this generation, women would argue that the one-child policy somehow helped them improve their status. In lots of cities where families eventually only had one daughter, they were forced to place the resources on the single daughter, so the daughters are able to get an education, unlike in previous generations where they had more siblings. So this author says, when I hear that narrative, which comes from a lot of her friends and people she knows well, she feels sad and complicated, because it is true that women's status needs to be improved, especially in China. And you see how, she says, I see how my grandpa he would still say to me, even today, I am worth less than my younger brother. Wow. And my child is not really his great-grandson. So I do believe that education is one of the primary ways of improving the status. That way, the policy had unintended consequences. But what you're doing, what we're talking about is a whole societal change. And what it created is a monster for the grandfather to say, you're worth less than your brother. And that you can't even quantify. How do you quantify that there's millions and millions of people in China who view other people in this way, that without love, without care?
Well, and there again, it goes back to a society void of the Lord, and that's what makes Western nations softer, more compassionate nations. It's that illumination of the mind. Without God, you literally you are unable to love.
Yeah.
You're unable to have love without God, because God is love.
Yeah, exactly. This was an interesting, I'm moving on. Okay. I'm moving on.
Let me clarify that last sentence. Even if you don't count yourself a Christian, you can still love people, but I would say that that you have more God in you than you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So not that, but these nations that literally do not have they're God, just literally godless. You see people that are godless. Literally, God. Leo Martin said something very pivotal in his show. You do not have to be a Christian to enjoy the benefits of a Christian nation. And so when I say you can't love without God, you need to understand that when you do love somebody, that is God. Whether you're a Christian or not, it is. But if you don't have an element of God in you at all, you are unable Mr. Mikey. To love. Mom shared your documentary everywhere. Your Thanksgiving, not documentary, your compilation. She loved it. We watched it on Thanksgiving Day, so you guys can go to Mr. Mikey's page and check that out. I think it's Mikey. It might be Mikey B. Are there two different channels? I don't want to get it confused. It's Mikey in there. So forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. But he does say celebrate Jesus every day is what matters anyway. I agree, but I think that it's really important for us to, historically, throughout the whole Bible, we have special days. Special days to celebrate things.
Like Passover or Purim
yeah, exactly. So remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. We love you.
God loves
you. God bless. Good night, guys.
It's cold.